What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is your weekly reactor hunt video for the First Descendant. I make one of these every week since every week on Tuesdays they change the locations where you can farm certain reactor combinations, allowing you to essentially spot farm or target farm whichever reactor for whichever descendant you're looking for. This video covers from the 14th of Jan until the 21st of Jan, and I want to actually just give a big old warning right before we get started that this is also patch week, and it has happened sometimes in the past that once they patch the game they actually change the locations of the reactors. So it's possible that when we see the Innis Pass drop in about 2 days time, or actually a day from the time you're seeing this video, that the locations might change, and if that is so, I truly am sorry. And we'll get it right next time. But that being said, how do I get this information? First of all, you can make yourself a list like this. This is all the best in slot reactors per descendant in the game currently. And then of course you can take that list and you can turn it into something like this, which essentially shows you that certain descendants can combine together since they use the same best in slot reactors for them. So like for example, a very good combination is Izamo and Lepic. Whether you farm for either one of those two, you are farming for a Burning Mechanics Fire Tech reactor, and that means that you can basically double dip and you can make sure that you basically equip two descendants. So it's a way to make the farm a little bit easier. Now, how these videos work is I suggest areas that you can go farm that have a higher than usual reactor drop rate. I also try to combine areas where you can essentially double dip and find other kinds of reactors as well if possible. This week is a good week for Blair. Blair uses burning phase reactors or fire dimension. Pretty much all of his abilities, or the best ones, are dimension abilities, so this is the reactor of choice for you. And if you're looking to farm something for Blair this week, I've got you covered. So you're gonna go to fire here, you're gonna go to dimension, and you're gonna get Vermilion Waste. Vermilion Waste is in Agna Desert and has an outpost here that you can farm in what is known as the Valby Way. You can also do this with Bunny. Works a little bit different, but the bottom line is you want to make your AoE, your third skill, as small as possible, and then you want to make sure that it's strong enough to one tap the enemies but not to potentially completely wreck the boss if the boss wanders over into your stream. Basically all you're doing is you're going around on the outside, and for 2 minutes and 36 seconds you kill every single one of the enemies that spawn. This will give you a decent amount of character XP, weapon proficiency, gold Kuiper, and you guessed it, reactors. So hopefully you can get something sexy for Blair to drop. Next up, if you are a person that likes to play support and you want to build yourself a healing Yujin that works in groups and essentially make sure that your allies don't die, in aka Healjin, then the reactor of choice that you're looking for is Materialized Mixture, which happens to be non-attribute fusion. So this is what works really well for him as a healing setup. If you want to farm one of those reactors this week, I've got you covered. So you're going to go over here and you're going to look for non-attribute fusion. That's going to give you Converter Facility, and guess what? Converter Facility has an outpost on it that you can also farm in the Valby method. So basically make sure that you deal enough damage to one tap all the enemies, make sure that the boss sticks to the middle, kind of like pull him back to the middle if he wanders off the beaten path. And for 2 minutes and 30 seconds you'll be able to farm all of these enemies that spawn, giving you a decent amount of XP, proficiency, gold Kuiper, and some reactors. Hopefully you can get a nice Yujin heal reactor for yourself. If you're still looking to gear up your Sharen, I've got a really cool farm for you for her this week as well. She is of course Tingling Mixture, which is electric and fusion. So this is the reactor of choice for her. And if you want to farm that this week, you are going to go over here, you're going to say electric, you're going to say fusion, and you'll see Abandoned Zone. Now, Abandoned Zone is in Echo Swamp and has a mission called Environment Contamination Zone. Very famous mission, specifically made famous by Bunny, because you can very efficiently do this by running a loop with her. It's possible to do it with other descendants. Freyna comes to mind. Valby's also pretty good here. But absolutely Bunny shines here, and you're able to complete this loop relatively fast, especially if you're using something like high voltage. There's a decent amount of yellow bar enemies that spawn here as well, plus a whole bunch of just normal dudes. So you'll be able to get some good XP, good weapon proficiency, gold Kuiper, pretty much the fort as normal. And you guessed it, a whole bunch of reactors. So hopefully you can get yourself a sexy Sharen reactor. It's now a really good time to farm for her because she's an electric descendant, and in the second part of season 2, electric descendants are gonna be really good because that is what the new void intercept boss is weak against. So definitely make some time and get yourself a reactor like this. Last one of the farms for the descendants this week is for Keelen, one of the newest descendants to join us. Now, technically speaking, Keelen can work with 2 reactors since his abilities are singular and fusion. But if you're looking for a fusion reactor, aka toxic mixture, toxic fusion, then this is a good week for you, because we can go over here to toxic, we can go to fusion, and you'll see there's an area called defense line. Defense line is in fortress, and it features an outpost that is the original Valby run. So right from the very beginning, when the Valby run was invented, it was invented at this outpost. It's a really good week for Valby, by the way. So you can do this outpost pretty much like the other farms I've shown you so far this week. Do bear in mind though that if you remember how sexy the old Valby run was, it's not nearly as good here anymore. They've nerfed it into the ground. There's a fair share of reactors that still drop, but overall you won't make that much gold, Kuiper, weapon efficiency, and so on. You can rest easily though, knowing that you won't easily kill the boss in the middle though, because he's kind of one of the harder outpost bosses. So, and he's got, you know, some drones and all that shit. So you should be okay with just concentrating on staying alive, staying on the outside ring, and killing as many enemies as possible so you can get those fusion reactors to drop, and hopefully one of them is good for your Keelen. Then I also make a point to shout out any specific external component farms that might be good for this week. These of course can be farmed if you're trying to make a farm set or something like that, and generally speaking, usually one of these is pretty good. This week is Sensor's turn, so if you choose Sensor, you'll see Grand Square. Grand Square has a mission called Kingston Surveillance Radar, another one of those that are easily done with an AoE, Descendant, Bunny, Freyna, Valby, pretty much anyone like that. Jumping Jacks, any of those work really well. Basically, you just want to kill all the enemies in the small area. You've got about 5 or 6 packs that spawn, and you're going to get a decent amount of these sensors to drop here, and hopefully you'll get some double yellow stat farm set capable external components so that you can get that set done. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking to prepare for Ines, like I said, have a look at the channel. The video before this one was actually specifically for her. Super excited. Like I said, we're about a day away from the patch dropping. Bunch of new things for us to do in the patch, at least from a farming perspective, especially if you are going for weapon cores. That's going to be a whole bunch of new investments into our ultimate weapons, and I'll be sure to bring those updates to the channel. Let me know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to most in the patch. Other than that, fucking cheers.